Most artists mess up their sessions before they even get in the booth, and here's how. My overall point for this video is that a lot of artists are showing up unprepared to the studio. Here are a few common things I see. To make sure you're getting the most out of your studio time, you need to make sure you are showing up prepared. Here are a few ways to make sure that you do that. This first one I know should be very obvious, but it is worth mentioning out loud. Make sure that you know what you are doing for the session. There have been more than a few sessions where an artist will come in, but they have no idea what song we're doing, and they're just basically wanting to wing it and wanting to vibe out and see what happens. I know as artists, we want to be able to do that, but most artists are also on a very strict budget, or they don't have a lot of money, so we're only working off of a few hours. We just don't have time to be thinking about what we want to do. You should come to the studio knowing what you want to knock out. So the first tip that I would give you is to make sure that you know what you want to do. And when you know what you want to do, that means having your beats already picked out and downloaded so that you can email it or have them on a hard drive to go ahead and transfer it to the computer as soon as you show up for your session. Another way to make sure you know what you're doing is to have your song written. I get this problem mostly with rappers where they notice that their favorite rappers don't write music anymore, even though it's been years before they got to that point. And so the misconception is that you can show up to the studio and just freestyle an entire song, but you haven't developed that muscle, you haven't developed that vocabulary and that mental repertoire for how to tell stories and how to say certain things and how to make it all cohesive. You really are planning to fail when you don't know what you want to do, and the next thing you know, you're trying to rush through a song and just finish anything because you don't have much time in the first place. So to avoid all of that frustration, just make sure that you have your beats picked out and they are ready to email or download or send to the engineer, and make sure that you have your lyrics. And worst case scenario, if you don't know what you're saying on the song, at least understand the mood or the emotion that you want to explore for your session for that day. Another way to make sure you're getting the most out of your studio time is to make sure that you do your vocal warm-ups before you get to your session. This goes for my singers especially, but this can also go for my rappers. Your voice is an instrument. It is a living instrument. Your voice does the best when your body is warmed up. Your vocals just perform at their optimal level when your entire body is warmed up and ready to go. So make sure that you do at least 10 minutes of a vocal warm-up. If you can't do that, try to squeeze in 5 minutes of a vocal warm-up before you get to the studio. If you want me to make a video on vocal warm-ups and exercises, let me know, and that can be one of the next topics we chat about. But showing up to the studio with your vocals cold often means that we are doing more takes than we have to because your body is still warming up to the performance of it all. Now, these next things are not necessarily tangible, but they are things that you need to keep in mind before you show up to your studio session. To make sure you are getting the most out of your time, you want to make sure that you are showing up emotionally and mentally prepared. The next level of showing up to the studio knowing what you want to do is giving yourself options. So a lot of times we have one plan for what we want to accomplish while we're in the studio, but then we get to the studio and we realize, I actually don't feel like a sad girl today, and I actually want to turn up a little bit, but the only thing that you brought to the session was a slow song, a ballad, or something that's a little depressing maybe that you were in your feelings for, right? Well, to avoid this problem, make sure that you just have different options for yourself. So if your mood does change, you have a vibe, you have a song that you can go ahead and get into, and we can switch and we can pivot with no problems. Now, I do realize that a lot of artists use music as a form of therapy, but especially when money is on the line, and as independent artists, we don't necessarily have a lot of money to throw around. It is important to make sure that you are mentally ready to record and perform whatever song you decided that you're doing for that day. Unfortunately, life gets in the way, and that can affect our mood, which is going to affect our tone, and that's going to affect our performance and not give us the energy and the vibe that we want to put on the record. Music is a lot more than just saying words over top of a beat. It's a lot more than just having fun. It's thinking about an emotion or a mindset or a story and how we are conveying that to the audience so that we can connect to one another. A lot of artists will use music as a therapy session, but unfortunately, unfortunately, sometimes people come in and they're too riled up from what's been happening in their life to even be able to focus enough on recording the song and cutting the record and giving the performance that they need to give. Now, I am at a point in my career as an audio engineer where the first 10, 15 minutes, my clients are comfortable coming in and we have a conversation for the first few minutes. We check in with each other. We do a mental check. Hey, what's going on with you? What's going on in life? All right, cool. Now, what are we getting into today with this song? What are we recording? Just that 5-10 minutes, sometimes up to 20, depending on if there's a lot going on in life. Those moments help so much to kind of ground the artist and to get me, the engineer, understanding like, hey, what's the mindset that you're in so I can help you get the best performance for this session, right? Taking that quick moment to check in with yourself and your engineer really can help the session run so much more smoothly. If you keep all these tips in mind, then you are guaranteed to be able to make the most out of your session. Of course, we can get deeper with some of these etiquette tips and some of these things to help you prepare for your studio session, but this is a pretty good starting point. I'll make some more videos for you in the future. Thank you for tuning into LexChat. If this helped you, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. In the comments, tell me what topics you want to chat about. But until then, my name is LexC. Peace.
I'ma keep holding my ground. Never go down.
This a toast.
Never gon' drown.
Call the shots, nigga.
Never gon' fumble my crown.
Only op a nigga got is the clock, nigga. Watch, nigga.
Never go down.
Watch, nigga.
Never gon' drown.
Call the shots, nigga.
Never gon' fumble my crown.
Only op a nigga got is the clock, nigga. Watch, nigga.
Watch for the clock, it don't stop.
Yeah.
If it keeps going, then why would I not?
Yeah.
Up at the top, a long drive.
Yeah.
I bet if I fall, I fly, I won't
Yeah.
fly.
Yeah.
Never go down.
Watch, nigga.
Never gon' drown.
Watch, nigga.